Life is a journey, and we sometimes encounter people who hold us back. What if someone in your life disrupts your inner peace? The difficult truth is that sometimes it is best to cut ties with someone, even if you care deeply about them. This is never a simple decision. We often feel obligated to maintain relationships, especially with family members. However, certain red flags can indicate that a relationship is becoming toxic and has to be changed. In this video, we'll look at 13 signs that it's time to consider breaking ties with someone in order to live a more virtue-filled and peaceful life. Stoicism encourages us to concentrate on what we can control, our ideas, perceptions, and actions, while detaching from what we cannot control, the outside world and the behavior of others. Using Stoic ideas, we can achieve the clarity and strength required to negotiate difficult relationships. But before we begin this adventure, click the subscribe button and join our community of like-minded people seeking wisdom and better lives. Now let's go into those signs. Number 1, they consistently drain your energy. Ever felt very exhausted after finishing a conversation with another person? After interacting with most people, you could feel a bit drained, but with some, it might be really bad. If you're ever feeling emotionally and psychologically drained, these are the people to avoid. Epictetus, a major character in Stoic thought, stresses the significance of protecting our inner fire or spirit. Think of this will as a spark, similar to how a gentle wind tends to a flame. Healthy relationships help keep it burning bright, but toxic relationships are like intense winds that might blow out the fire completely. How does this idea apply to real life? Anger, irritation, and anxiety are just some of the bad emotions that toxic encounters can bring on. Experiencing these feelings depletes our emotional and mental resources. Coming face to face with negativity can be exhausting, much like fighting a steady headwind. Fatigue of the mind. Negative people can bring a lot of drama, negativity, and chaos into your life. Lots of mental stamina is needed to deal with these problems. Envision yourself perpetually balancing on one's tiptoes, solving complex problems or strategizing. If you're not careful, this mental strain can make you feel tired. Virtue erosion. The Stoics advocated for a life of virtue, which they defined as being honest, brave, and rational. The maintenance of these values can be hindered by toxic encounters. To illustrate how someone's persistent criticism can lead you astray from Stoic rationality, consider the temptation to react with rage. There is a toll that this inner conflict can take. Understanding the drain that toxic people put on our energies allows us to make well-informed choices. Refraining from letting toxic individuals drain your emotional reserves is like leaving a window open during a blizzard. Useless. If we cut links with these negative influences, we'll have more stamina for the things that matter, spending time with inspiring people, doing what makes us happy, and being good. Number 2, they disregard your boundaries. We build invisible boundaries in our relationships. They lay down what is and is not acceptable behavior. Making polite, healthy connections requires them. It's a serious warning sign when someone routinely ignores your limits. Roman emperor and Stoic thinker Marcus Aurelius stresses the need of acting morally and with integrity. This entails defining and respecting boundaries. A notion known as the dichotomy of control was held by the Stoics. This entails making the distinction between what we can influence, our own ideas, deeds, and responses, and what we cannot, the outside environment and other people's conduct. How this relates to boundaries is as follows. Honoring your decisions. Honoring your decisions and wants is the essence of setting boundaries. This might be anything from establishing boundaries on communication at work to outlining precise privacy requirements. Someone who ignores your limits is effectively stating that your wants and preferences are unimportant. Setting limits. Setting limits helps us to safeguard our mental and emotional health. Consider your boundaries as a barrier that guards your inner tranquil. Someone who oversteps all the time is eroding that wall and causing tension and anxiety. The power of no courage is a fundamental virtue that the Stoics held to be essential to acting morally. Often it takes guts to set and enforce limits, especially when working with someone who might not like to hear no. But leading an honorable life requires the guts to defend oneself. We can develop our ability to enforce our boundaries successfully by adhering to Stoic ideas. We can express our expectations clearly and politely, yet aggressively correct someone when they go too far. It is not about being conceited or egotistical. It is about taking charge of our own health and fostering positive, civil connections. Recall that you should be in partnerships where people will respect and appreciate your boundaries. Number 3, they are emotionally abusive. A quiet weapon, emotional assault, can erode your sense of reality and self-worth. Subtle criticisms to avert threats and manipulation are just a few ways it might show up. It's a big red flag if someone in your life regularly denigrates you, controls you out of fear or guilt, or attempts to gaslight you into seeing things differently. Renowned Stoic philosopher Seneca cautioned against the perils of unpleasant feelings. He thought that these feelings, angry, afraid and depressed, could skew our judgment and make it hard to think clearly. These unpleasant feelings are frequently employed as devices for manipulation and control in the setting of emotional abuse. Here is how Stoicism could support you in negotiating an emotionally violent relationship. Protecting your mental health. Your mental health might suffer greatly from emotional abuse. Anxiety, despair, and a sense of helplessness might result from the continual assault of bad news. The Stoics stressed the need of preserving mental health, since they thought that it was necessary to lead a moral life. You give your mental health first priority and make place for inner calm when you leave an abusive situation. Preserving reason. Seneca thought that acting logically and unaffected by feelings is what constitutes